We started off the summit with Monken talking about this being a proud moment of change for our organisations. And as he's just said, today is also a moment of change for me, because after 11 years on the board of the Wheel, which I couldn't believe when Deirdre told me, including 4 as chair, my term of office is now up, and today is actually the last day in that role because it ends at the AGM. So what a fabulous day for me to end on. I was very struck by Monken's observation at the very beginning that if we come together, we can bring about profound change, and that is what the Wheel is all about. The Wheel absolutely believes that the sector is a force for change, a force for positive change. And we heard earlier today of that challenge that charities are a vested interest, and I know in my day-to-day work I hear that quite a bit. And actually, I'm really proud of that. Of course we're a vested interest. We're vested in building a better and fairer Ireland. Vested shouldn't mean negative. So we are a positive vested interest, and I'm very proud to be part of that positive vested interest along with you in this room. It was obvious to us all, I think, today that the pioneers, the trailblazers, the inspiring leadership is in this room. Liz Waters shone a light on the critical importance of collaboration. I too, because I've been around a long time, have had that experience of don't be looking at what I'm doing, and a real reluctance to share our knowledge, wisdom and information. And thankfully, that is changing. And there is increasing recognition of the need to build communal solidarity, to park what was referred to as the institutional egos for that much bigger prize. I was also struck today by the phrase glass pockets, because I think that sums it up perfectly. Transparency, openness and honesty were stated as givens for our sector. But I think we need to ask ourselves the critical question, but are they? If such significant numbers of charities are posting abridged accounts, that doesn't suggest to me that everyone's pockets are glass. We absolutely need to build that desire, that commitment to glass pockets into the DNA of our organisations. There's no point in us sitting in rooms and talking about we're not trusted. And then when you look at the facts that, and I know some of it is fiction, but the facts that actually lead to that, the increasing numbers of people putting together abridged accounts, I think, are actually fueling that debate. So we need to build that commitment to transparency, openness and honesty into the DNA of our organisations. And then we need to do it, and then we need to tell people that we're doing it. We need to convince not just policymakers and the public, but the people in the communities that we work with and for, that we are truly ethical, honest and well run. Those 3 questions that in the survey people were saying we're not doing well on that. On those, we're not convinced you're ethical, honest and well run. Good enough governance isn't good enough. As the leaders in the sector, I think we must model the way. I had the opportunity through the US State Department for Education and Culture to spend 3 weeks in the US in March on an NGO leadership programme. And 3 things struck me, and it's interesting, they struck me ahead of today, but actually it's been affirmed again today. And those 3 things were philanthropy is in their DNA. It's in the DNA of individuals and communities and organisations and corporates, and it's enabled and facilitated by government. So we need to do something about that. They speak measuring impact with fluency. And that's whether it's small community organisations, they have absolutely no difficulty telling you the difference that they make. So from small community groups to large not-for-profits, which is what the term they use, they are able to tell you the difference that they make. And they are fabulous at telling the story and putting the person at the centre. One organisation that we visited, they said, our story begins from you pull up in our car park. And in the car park, there was a reserved parking space with a parking sign for the volunteer of the year whose name was on that parking space. So before you got out of your vehicle, that was already starting to tell you the story. Ireland is a country of storytellers. Why can we not tell the stories of our organisations? We saw some fabulous examples of those that can today. And I think, and it was said earlier, if we put the people at the centre, came up on the feed a few minutes ago, put the people at the centre, and it's their story we need to tell, not the story of the organisation. So I think it is a challenge for us, but I do believe that we can do it. You've already identified just now, the many challenges that we face, so I won't go back over them. But in terms of the positives, there were lots of them. We've got a new department, we have a cabinet-level minister, we have the goodwill. Volunteering is still happening in significant numbers. Our fundraising is growing. The charity regulator is a positive. There are a number of ongoing reviews, and that is an opportunity. The growing interest in social enterprise and increasing collaboration to shape policy and practice. I was particularly struck when Barbara outlined the mission of the new department to support vibrant and sustainable communities across Ireland. You could almost find and replace and put C&V sector, charities, not-for-profits. So we share that mission, and that has to be a real opportunity for us in terms of broadly a shared agenda. And I think there is hopefully an open invitation, perhaps to us being each other's critical friends as we go forward. In my experience over the 11 years of the Wheel, I want to reassure you that the Wheel's members are absolutely at the heart of everything the Wheel does. As Deirdre said in the introduction to today's programme, we celebrate the work of the members of the Wheel today, but every day. The positive impact that you're making in the lives of individuals and communities across Ireland is part and parcel of all of the work of the Wheel. It's been an absolute privilege to be your chair. The Wheel is a wonderful organisation with amazing staff who are passionate, committed and dedicated to doing the very best that they can for you and for the future of the civil society, non-for-profit, charity, C&V sector. We need to decide what we're going to call ourselves. I hope that you find the day inspiring and that you feel affirmed, re-energised and proud of the work you do. And I'm going to end by reminding you of two things. Re-quoting the African proverb mentioned earlier in the day, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think one of my take-homes is remembering Davy's thumb wrestling example. There couldn't have been a starker example as I tried to wrestle Sandra, but that cooperation and collaboration achieves much better results. Good luck with the work, and thank you.
Hi guys, I don't want to make a big speech because we have an AGM coming up, so I want to save my wish for then. But I just wanted to say, I guess on behalf of all of us here, and staff and volunteers and board and members of the Wheel, just to say you've been a phenomenal chair. I'll miss you loads. And to say thank you, just a heartfelt, sincere thank you on behalf of all of us for some amazing leadership.